My name is Emily Carter, and at 36, I thought I'd built a life that was rock solid. I'm a software consultant, the sort who works from a sunny San Diego condo in yoga pants and still brings in enough to keep my world spinning. My husband, Ryan, his mom, Diane, and his freeloading cousin, Nate, they all count on me. For 8 years, I didn't mind much. I married into this rowdy, West Coast family, drawn in by their energy, their endless barbecues, and plans that swept me along. They'd talk over each other, crack jokes, and rope me into adventures I'd never pick myself. I called it lively, even endearing. But lately, I've realized it's not just leaning on me, they expect me to carry them. And I'm not sure I'm okay with that anymore. Take this Hawaii trip, for instance. A few months back, Ryan bounced into our kitchen, all grins, and said, let's take the family somewhere epic, like Maui. I could have pushed back. I could have mentioned the new server I'd bought for my freelance gigs or how Diane's emergency loan hadn't been repaid. But I didn't. I said yes, because that's what I do. Before I knew it, I was booking flights, a cliffside Airbnb with a pool, and a luau for the whole crew. It wasn't just me and Ryan. Diane had to come, Nate invited himself, and Ryan added his old buddy, Jake, without a word to me. I didn't blink at the price tag. I paid, organized, and sent out the itinerary, picturing us on a beach, Ryan's arm around me, maybe a Mai Tai in hand as the waves crashed. I loved being the one who made his eyes light up, the one he called the best. But something started nagging at me. It wasn't loud at first, just a flicker of unease. Maybe it was how Ryan kept tacking on guests without checking, or the way Diane called me the ATM with that sharp laugh. I'd brush it off, but it lingered. I'd be debugging code in my office, the ocean breeze slipping through the window, and wonder why I was the only one holding things together. Ryan would slide in, kiss my forehead, and say, "You're amazing, Em." I'd smile, letting it fade. He's charming, you know, sandy hair, hazel eyes, a grin that erases your doubts. That's how it was when we met at a friend's beach bonfire. 10 minutes of his stories, and I was all in. His family came with him, loud and messy, but I told myself I could handle it. Back then, I thought they saw me as one of them. Diane called me sweetie, Nate bummed snacks and high-fived me, and I felt like I fit. Now, with this trip looming, I wasn't so sure. I was starting to feel like the hired help, not family. I noticed things more. Like when Nate crashed at our place last week, sprawled on my couch, and said, "This Maui thing's gonna be unreal, Em. Thanks for bankrolling it." He smirked like it was cute, but it landed wrong. I nodded, flipped open my laptop, and kept quiet. No need to spark a fight, not yet. But I was watching. I'd catch Ryan and Diane on the phone, their voices low, cutting off when I walked in. Once, I overheard Nate at a family grill, laughing into his phone, "Yeah, Emily's got it handled. She always does." It hit me like a stone in my chest. I'd go back to my screen, the trip details open, flight times, Airbnb check-in, luau tickets, and wonder why it didn't excite me. I'd worked hard for this. My job's steady, lucrative. I'm not showy about it, same old Prius, sneakers until they're toast, but the money's for them, for Ryan, Diane, Nate, for the life I thought we shared. Yet, sitting alone with the house quiet, I felt something off, like a bug in my code I couldn't pin down. 2 weeks before the trip, it all unraveled. Diane invited me to dinner at her place, a squat bungalow in La Jolla with peeling paint and a porch that creaked. It was the usual summons, her family nights were loud, crowded, and non-negotiable. Ryan said he'd meet me there, so I slipped on jeans, grabbed my keys, and drove over, expecting the standard chaos, stories shouted over plates, Diane's overcooked lasagna, everyone talking at once. I wasn't wrong about the noise, but I walked into a trap I never saw coming. The driveway was jammed, Ryan's Jeep, his Aunt Linda's minivan, cars I didn't know. Inside, the air was thick with wine and chatter. Diane held court at the dining table, her silver hair pinned up, waving a glass like she owned the room. Ryan sat beside her, poking at a salad, his eyes flicking to me for a second before dropping. Linda was there, her cackle slicing through the buzz, along with Ryan's friends, Tara and Mia, giggling at their phones. Nate was missing, which was weird, but I didn't linger on it. I slid next to Ryan, brushed a kiss on his cheek, and said, "Wow, full house." His smile was thin, like he was chewing on something he couldn't spit out. I should have caught it, but I was too busy grabbing a breadstick and nodding at Diane's rant about her HOA. The room hummed until Diane slammed her glass down, cleared her throat, and said, "Emily, we tweaked the trip a bit." The table went silent, every eye on me. I set my breadstick down, wiped my hands, and said, "Tweaked how?" Ryan jumped in, words tumbling fast. "I invited Derek. Just for a couple days." Derek, his ex-best friend turned rival, the guy who'd crashed our engagement party, drunk, yelling I'd ruined Ryan's life. He'd thrown a punch at a bartender before security hauled him out. I hadn't heard his name in years. My stomach knotted. I turned to Ryan, waiting for his eyes to meet mine. They didn't. He stared at his plate, shredding a napkin. "Derek," I said, slow, letting it sink in. "To the trip I'm paying for." He nodded, quick, like it was nothing. Before I could speak, Diane leaned in, her smile cutting. "Oh, and Travis is coming too. You remember Travis, right? Ryan's old flame." Tara and Mia snorted into their wine. Travis, Ryan's high school boyfriend, the one he'd mentioned too often early on, always with a wistful smirk. I hadn't thought of him in ages. Now he was joining my trip. My pulse spiked, but I kept my face still. Diane wasn't done. She swirled her glass and added, "Since you seem stressed, Emily, we'll give your spot to Travis." Linda coughed, hiding a laugh. Ryan stayed glued to his napkin. The room tilted, not from wine, I don't drink at these things, but from the sheer nerve of it. I leaned back, crossed my arms, and let the silence grow. "So," I said, voice low, "you've invited two guys Ryan used to be tight with, to a vacation I planned and funded, and now you're kicking me off it." Diane shrugged, like I was making a fuss. "It's just for fun, Emily." Fun. That word stung. Ryan glanced up, eyes wide, and muttered, "You're blowing this out of proportion." "It's just a trip." I scanned the table, Diane's smirk, Linda's averted gaze, Tara and Mia whispering. It felt like a setup, a game I hadn't agreed to play. I could have screamed, flipped the table, walked out. But I'm not that woman. I fix things, not break them. So I stayed, letting it burn inside, piecing it together. This wasn't a whim. They'd planned it, laughed over it, probably clinked glasses while deciding how to spin it. And Ryan, my husband, the man I'd built everything for, was in on it. I pictured Derek's cocky grin, Travis's easy charm, lounging in my Airbnb, sipping drinks I'd paid for. Me, what, stuck home while they lived it up? No way. I pushed my chair back, slow, and stood. "Emily, sit," Diane snapped, like I was a kid. I ignored her. I looked at Ryan, hoping for a word, a hint he wasn't this far gone. Nothing. His eyes stayed down. "Enjoy your meal," I said, voice flat. I walked out, the screen door banging shut. Diane muttered something, Linda laughed, but I didn't care. I got in my car, gripped the wheel, and sat there, the anger rising. They thought I'd cave, begged to keep my place. They didn't know me at all. I drove home, the city lights blurring, not tears, just fury. In my condo, I dropped my keys, flipped on a lamp, and stood in the quiet. My chest was tight, hands shaky, but my head was clear. I wasn't crumbling. I grabbed my laptop and got to work. They wanted to play me? Fine. But I wasn't playing anymore. I didn't lose it when I got home. I could have called Ryan, yelled until my throat gave out, but that's not me. I'm the one who thinks, who plans, who waits for the right move. The condo was mine, every bill, every bulb, paid by me. I poured a glass of water, sat at the kitchen island where Ryan and I used to share coffee, and replayed the dinner. Diane's smugness, Ryan's silence, the way they acted like I was crazy for not nodding along while they handed my trip to Derek and Travis. "You're blowing this out of proportion," Ryan had said, as if inviting his old crew to a vacation I bankrolled was a minor oops. I set the glass down, water sloshing, and muttered to the empty room, "You invited two guys you were close with, to a trip I'm funding, and didn't tell me." It sounded as wrong out loud as it felt inside. Wrong, and deliberate. I paced, then stopped by the window, the ocean a dark smear beyond the glass. Nate's voice echoed from last week, "You're footing the bill, Em." Sweet deal. Like I was a sponsor, not family. Ryan's silence at dinner cut deeper. My husband, who I'd built this life for, hadn't just gone along, he'd helped orchestrate it. I felt it in my bones. I sat at my desk, the laptop waking with a hum, the Maui itinerary glaring back, flights, Airbnb, luau, all in my name, all on my card. My trip. My money. And they thought they could rewrite me out of it, like I'd just shrug and say, "Go for it." They'd misjudged me. I didn't yell at that table because I didn't need to. Words wouldn't fix this, action would. I logged into the airline site and cancelled every flight, one by one, watching the booking cancelled notices stack up like wins. Then the Airbnb, gone. The luau, done. My fingers flew, steady, no second thoughts. This wasn't spite, it was reclaiming what was mine. When it was over, I emailed the group, Ryan, Diane, Linda, even Nate, attaching the cancellation screenshots. Subject, trips off. No rant, no drama, just the truth. Let them stew. I hit send, leaned back, and felt a shift, not peace yet, but power. They'd think I was sulking, throwing a fit. Let them. I wasn't done. I opened a new tab, searched for flights, just for me. Maine came to mind, Acadia National Park, all rocky cliffs and quiet trails. I'd seen photos once, felt a pull. I found a one-way ticket leaving in 2 days. Booked it. Then a small cabin, nothing fancy, just a bed and a view. My phone buzzed, Ryan, probably, but I ignored it. Instead, I called Lauren, my attorney. We'd met through a client years ago, she'd sorted a contract mess for me once. She answered, voice crisp despite the hour. "Emily, you okay?" I cut to it. "I need you to start separation proceedings against Ryan. I'm leaving town soon. Can I sign digitally?" A pause, then, "You sure?" I glanced at the main confirmation, the cancelled Maui plans. "Yeah. I'm sure." She didn't push, just said, "I'll draft it. Stay safe." We hung up. I turned off my phone, set it down, and stood. The condo felt bigger, like I'd cleared space for myself. I grabbed a suitcase and packed, jeans, sweaters, boots. No rush, just essentials. I pictured Ryan's face when he saw the email, Diane's outrage. Would they call, beg, accuse? I didn't care. I opened a notebook, one I'd used for work ideas, and wrote, "Tonight, I chose me." Simple, true. I closed it, killed the lights, and slept deeper than I had in years. 10 minutes after that email, my phone erupted, texts, calls, chaos. I turned it on to peek, curious how they'd spin it. The group chat, Carter crew, lit up. Ryan first, "What's this? The bookings are gone. Call me." Diane, all caps, "Cancelled? What is wrong with you?" Linda, "This isn't the way, Emily." Nate stayed silent, probably mooching off someone's Wi-Fi. I let Ryan's call go to voicemail, muted the rest, and watched the frenzy unfold. It wasn't cruel, it was fair. I'd carried them for years, and the one time I pushed back, they tried to erase me. Not anymore. I pulled up my main flight again. 2 days, one way, no return planned. I had savings, a quiet account Ryan didn't touch, set up after Diane borrowed my card once. The cabin was booked, a speck near Bar Harbor, trees and tides. I pictured it, me, a coffee, no voices demanding my time. Not revenge, release. My phone kept buzzing, but I didn't need their excuses. I cracked a ginger ale, rare for me, but it felt right, sipped it by the sink, and smiled, imagining their faces when it sank in. The trip was gone, and they couldn't undo it. I'd locked my accounts tight after Diane's stunt. They had nothing to leverage, no way to guilt me back. I emailed Lauren again, file the papers. Send anything I need to sign. She replied, on it. You're covered. I trusted her, sharp, no fluff, just results. The buzzing faded as I shut my phone off, slid it into a drawer, and closed my laptop. The condo was silent, just the hum of the fridge. I lay in bed, our bed, though Ryan's side felt foreign now, his pillow untouched. Maine called, all fog and pines, a world away from their noise. I'd never been, but it felt like mine. I wrote another line in my notebook, they thought I'd fold. I flew. I turned off the lamp and let the dark take me. The storm was theirs now. I'd be gone before it hit. 2 days later, I was on a plane. I'd packed light, locked the condo, and driven to the airport, windows down, the radio off. The flight to Maine was smooth, every mile peeling away their weight. I landed in Bangor, rented a car, and drove to my cabin, a weathered shingle place tucked by the shore. I dropped my bag, stepped outside, and breathed, salt, pine, quiet. I didn't check my phone for days, let it sit dead in a drawer. But a week in, I plugged it in, curious. Notifications flooded, texts, voicemails, a mess. I skimmed, piecing it together. They'd shown up at the airport, the whole gang, Diane in a loud sundress, Ryan with his sunglasses, Linda fussing, Jake and a few others I didn't expect. They'd planned matching shirts, Carter Maui madness, thinking it'd be Instagram gold. They hit the check-in counter, all laughs and lays, only to hear, no reservations under your name. Belle, Nate's ex, demanded me the details, she'd never bought their act. Diane went white, demanded a manager. Ryan stood there, silent, while Linda cried, mascara everywhere. Jake swore, kicked his bag, and stormed off. Travis, get this, laughed, said, guess that's that, and left for a bar. It was a circus, Belle said, people staring, kids giggling as their plan crumbled. I sat on my cabin porch, a mug of tea warm in my hands, the Atlantic gray and endless. I didn't laugh, but I felt light, like I'd shed a skin. They'd built their dream on my dime, and when I pulled the plug, it collapsed. They earned it. I sipped my tea, the air sharp with salt. Maine was waking me up, hikes through Acadia, lobster rolls from roadside shacks, nights so quiet I could hear my own thoughts. Belle sent a blurry photo, Diane yelling at a desk agent, Ryan slumped nearby. I zoomed in, then closed it. I didn't need proof. I texted her, thanks. Glad I'm out. She replied, you're free now. I set my phone down, opened my notebook, and wrote, Day 7 in Maine. They fell apart. I didn't. I walked to the shore, let the waves lick my boots, and kept going. 2 weeks into Maine, I checked social media, sipping coffee at a harborside diner, the Wi-Fi spotty but enough. Ryan's post was pinned, my wife left us. One changed to a trip, and she cancelled everything. I'm lost. I read it slow, took a bite of toast. Lost, huh? Diane commented, she's unhinged. Poor Ryan, stuck with someone so selfish. I leaned back, staring at the screen. Selfish. Unhinged. They'd spun me into the villain, the crazy wife who overreacted. Tara added a heart emoji, Mia wrote, you're better off. A few likes from cousins I barely knew. A show, all of it, polished to paint them as victims. I could have posted back, spilled it all, Derek, Travis, their secret plans. But I didn't. I closed the app. Belle messaged, they're lying, M. I've got proof if you need it. I typed, show me. She sent screenshots, texts between Ryan and Derek, months old. Miss the old days, Ryan wrote. Derek, still got a shot? Ryan, won't care. She never does. Another from Diane to Ryan, Derek's in, Travis too. Emily'll pay. A hotel receipt, booked under Ryan's name, cash paid, weeks before dinner. Then Ryan to Travis, with my itinerary, pick what you want. M's covering it. I stared, the diner's chatter fading. Months. Not a fluke, a scheme. They'd played me, laughed while I worked, thinking I'd never push back. I thanked Belle, saved the screenshots, and walked to the water. The waves were rough, matching the twist in my gut. They hadn't just betrayed me, they'd banked on my silence. I wasn't silent now. I emailed Lauren, add these to the file. Ryan's been planning with Derek and Travis. Diane too. She replied, got it. This strengthens our case. I sat on a dock, legs dangling, and wrote in my notebook, proof's mine now. Their lies don't stick. The tide rolled in, and I felt steady, grounded. A month in, Lauren emailed, divorce papers were ready. I read them in my cabin, fire crackling, rain tapping the roof. Ryan's texts, Diane's scams, using my business card for consulting that never happened, laid out in black and white. I wrote back, serve them. Lauren sent the confirmation 2 days later. I stood by the shore, boots sinking in mud, and felt lighter. Not vengeance, closure. I'd moved most of my money to a trust last year, after Diane's card stunt. The condo, savings, my accounts, safe. Ryan's truck, leased in my name, was repossessed last week. I didn't cheer. It was just done. Belle texted, papers hit. Diane screaming, Ryan's quiet. They're unraveling. I replied, thanks. Let them. She sent a chat log, Ryan whining he'd lost everything, Diane vowing to fight. It didn't move me. They weren't sorry for me, just for losing my wallet. I hiked Cadillac Mountain that day, the view all fog and stone, and wrote, they're loud. I'm not listening. This is mine. My phone stayed quiet after that, and I liked it. 3 months in Maine, and I'd found a rhythm, coding for local clients, small jobs that kept me sharp. Mornings on trails, evenings with books from a thrift shop. I met Sarah, a potter at a farmer's market, her hands dusted with clay, her laugh easy. We'd grab coffee, talk art or code, nothing heavy. She didn't need me to fix her life, just share it sometimes. It felt right, not rushed. I checked Ryan's profile once, him in Diane's garage, boxes around him, captioned, starting over's tough. Diane's page ranted about betrayal. Travis was gone, Derek too, Belle said he'd crashed another scam. They'd fractured, I hadn't. 6 months later, the divorce closed, no courtroom, just signatures. I didn't celebrate, just walked the shore, the tide low. I'd rented a cottage in Bar Harbor, a weathered place with a loft, bought with my trust. No ties to San Diego, no ghosts of Ryan's mess. I worked, hiked, learned to bake bread, burned half, laughed at the rest. Sarah joined sometimes, her sketches piling up on my table. One day, a letter came, Ryan's writing, slipped under my door. Emily, I was wrong. I got lost in old ties, hurt you. I'm sorry. Call if you want. I read it, set it down, and made tea. Sorry didn't undo the dinners with Derek, the plans with Travis, Diane's schemes. I didn't hate him, but I didn't need him either. I tucked the letter in a box, not burned, not kept close. My name is Emily Carter, and I bought the tickets. I cancelled them. I walked away, and now I'm free. Not loud, not showy, just living. I stand on my porch, the sea gray and wild, and know this life is mine.